And so here we are discussing naked teenage girls boiled in cocoa butter, listening to the sun. No, we're actually talking about trolling and what it actually means in the on the internet and in possibly all other realms of interaction. So sort of a free-form discussion on a broad topic. So I'm going to go through a quick little list of things that I think are actually kind of interesting about it, and then other people are going to chime in with whatever their thoughts are. So one thing that I think is interesting about it is it allows people in internet communities to sort of climatize people that are unfamiliar with that community to it. Sort of like hazing, which a lot of people would see in a negative way, but it's something that you see all over in a lot of different groups, that medical students are hazed by doctors. The professors will show them the grossest parts of being a doctor just to get all the ick response out of people. You'll also find it as sort of a filtration mechanism where, on the internet you'll have, or in lots of other groups, you can't really exclude people, or you don't want to exclude people, but you don't want people to be in the group that can't handle whatever it is that's going on there. And so it sort of serves as a way of getting people in the group that can deal with whatever the concept is that's going on there. It's also, I think, useful as a rhetorical tactic when someone is either being disingenuous or has a certain amount of cognitive dissonance, which makes it so that they have a hard time addressing a certain argument or understanding it, and so you can sort of poke them with the troll and get them, if only out of self-preservation, to appreciate that there's some sort of a problem with their position. Also, it's good for dealing with people that are being really, really intentionally disingenuous with their position. And because it brings out, in a fun way, aspects of their argument that really are just obviously bullshit. It also, like April Fool's jokes, it kind of encourages a certain amount of healthy skepticism, and it gets people to question how much they look into a particular information source, whether or not it's appropriate to trust things. And I think it also is good, and this is something that Lenny was talking about, it's good at shifting the realm of what is considered acceptable. People are always going on, with what is and is not politically correct. And so trolling, in some senses, can shift what is considered politically correct back or forward or whatever, but it has an ability to actually change the context of what is acceptable in a discussion. So anyway, that's my rant on all of that. Did anyone have any input?
It's like a rite of passage, like in the fucking tribal. If in order to recognize somebody as an adult on the internet or whatever, a good trolling might do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my input.
What your
Johnny
input's
5 is
appreciated.
alive. Johnny 5 is alive.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
I was for a while part of an internet community where if you couldn't take criticism, and I mean harsh criticism, then you were better off leaving, because that was the basis of of the whole community. It was harsh criticism and a lot of trolling.
Right. And was that a positive thing in the community or just a wholly negative thing?
It was our form of quality control. Honestly, it was a sort of like artistic group, and anyone who didn't who refused to
Sorry,
improve
did you say
themselves,
artistic or autistic?
artistic,
I
artistic.
think both apply, to be honest.
Yeah.
Anyone who refused to improve themselves was gonna get a lot of shit and most likely leave.
Right.
My favorite
Yeah,
thing.
that's our
about
quality
trolling-
control.
All right. So there you go, Pat.
All right. My favorite thing about trolling is that I can be anyone I want to be, or at least any archetype I know enough about to be able to pull off. It's very nice to be able to put on different masks and dance around people.
Mm-hmm. Does that serve a purpose? I mean, is the assuming different identities and interjecting yourself into a situation kind of a mocking of whether the identity has any value? I mean, I don't know, am I getting too meta with the whole thing, or is it just you screwing around, or is there some
it's all on
deeper
a
catharsis in it?
It's all on a case-by-case basis.
Right.
Yeah.
One reason, and I'm sure many people do it, is enjoyment.
Yeah,
Some
I
people
I
try to
do it
make
with
others look stupid. Okay, you go, Magic.
Oh no, I was just adding that I do it often by hyperbole,
Uh-huh.
just emphasizing,
Welcome to the Hyperbole.
just emphasizing, just emphasizing the criticism that I receive and get more and more until it's fucking unbearable.
Well, right. I mean, because there's this sort of hyper fascination with identity, right? And
Yeah.
it's like it all basically is an ad hominem. It's like you are this, therefore you're only allowed to have these opinions.
Exactly.
And I mean, does that even matter? Hilariously, Pat and I were playing a game last night, an online game, and I criticized one of the other players on our team for being terrible, and they responded that they were a woman, that they were trans, and all sorts of other things that had nothing to do. It was a video game.
What's your point? Get good.
Right, pretty much. And so that you know, at a certain point, I mean, they were. I assume they were probably putting a mask on themselves. But you see people interject identity into situations where it shouldn't have any meaning, and yet they think it does. And people ascribe it to. And anyway, there's something kind of interesting about saying sort of grabbing that identity, or a more extreme one, in the case Magic was talking about, a hyperbolic version of it, and pushing it to the limit, just to sort of mock the concept of whether or not it in fact matters at all.
Exactly. Like, I'm not only a child molester, but I will also do legalize rape, especially on Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was. I responded to the trans woman who apparently this other player was when I told them they were terrible, and I said, "Well, that's interesting because I'm a tentacle monster," and I started, telling this person the plight of tentacle monsters, how I am not, I don't get my own bathroom. I'm not welcome in broad daylight. I occasionally.
But you do get your own Japanese schoolgirl.
Well, no, yeah, but it's not. They're not given to me. I have to work for it. And anyway, that was my troll on their attempted identity site.
So
I think you missed another important purpose of trolling.
Oh yeah.
And that is to serve as a. I'm trying to think of a metaphor. It can basically be used as a false, something false for the opposition to cling on to.
Mm-hmm.
To where they make themselves seem stupid because they fell for a troll so thoroughly.
Right.
This is this is sort of the
I mean, I would put
because
that more in the disingenuous thing, but that's definitely like a subcategory and an important one.
I think there's an element in trolling, isn't there, that is about the domination of another person.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, and the subversion of the rhetoric.
yeah, well, we were discussing before we came on air. My boy, who is he's in his second year on this earth, and he is, despite the fact that he hasn't mastered even the basics of English yet, one of the biggest trolls I know. And it's all about fulfilling needs that he wants to have met. And sometimes I'm not even sure what those needs are. I think sometimes the purpose is just to get a reaction out of Daddy.
Right.
So trolling is something, I think, which is very much a part of human nature, and I think it certainly serves a purpose in terms of attaining goals and possibly establishing domination. But what's interesting for me is a lot of people are complaining at the moment about trolling on the internet. And I've been gaming on the internet since the 90s, and gaming online, obviously, is somewhere where you meet a lot of trolls, or what you might call trolling behavior. And a big part of it was, as Val was alluding to, is it's a filtering system to basically work out who is a valued member of the community, someone who will fit in.
Right.
And especially with, I used to play a lot of Counter-Strike, and back in those days, and I'm sure, I don't play much today, the new version CSGO, but I'm sure that the same principles apply today, that if you take this shit seriously when somebody is trolling you, you're the one that looks like the douchebag. It goes hand in hand. But look, trolling is an inherent part, I think, of the way that we communicate with each other. It's not something that we should seek to destroy or to remove.
Well, I don't think you can.
I think you can at all. That's why I don't think you should seek to. It's a fool's errand.
Kind of
Remember that old stupid game every kid used to play where you point to someone's shirt and say, hey, you got something on your shirt, and then you flick their nose? Classic troll.
Yeah,
Right.
It's a classic troll, exactly.
Right, and I think in a lot of cases people look at this behavior and they see it as wholly negative and abusive, and certainly it can be. But that's sort of like everything. I mean, anything that is powerful can be turned towards an unhealthy place.
One thing that behavior is actually really good for, especially if you're a young boy or whatever, if you and that kid on the playground are drafted 10 years from now, if he doesn't cry like a little bitch when you flick his nose, then he's probably okay to be in the foxhole with. But if he does cry like a little bitch when you flick his nose, you probably don't want to be in the foxhole with him.
One thing which I also find sometimes quite enjoyable, but because I would say trolling has become more, well, it's always been there, but it's sort of, under internet, in my opinion at least, seems to be more present than ever. And there's sometimes a difficulty figure out if someone is a troll or not. And actually I think that's quite enjoyable, because a lot of people sometimes fall for like a troll bait. It's so fun to see. It's enjoyable to be a troll. It's actually sometimes enjoyable to watch people get trolled. I mean, even though there's, well, I would say that's the fun element. There's obviously.
I think what you're talking about there, Lenny, is the humor of trolling, and I think that's an important part of it. Trolling can basically be used to determine whether or not the other person has a sense of humor, and I think the most efficient way to disarm a troll is to counter with humor or troll the troll.
Yeah, I mean, we massively trolled our Brazilian friend by pretending we were gonna have a birdie debate, and it turned out to be someone from our own team. And I was sure, I mean, he wasn't mad or something, but if you react madly to a troll, they're just gonna get trolled more. So.
Do not feed the trolls.
Yes.
There was one person, this is going back years ago, who said I was it was about a YouTube video, that I was the dumbest, ugliest, even though I didn't show my face, person, blah blah blah, that they've ever heard of. So I said, oh, that's the nicest thing, we should get married. And then they stopped.
Oh.
You don't feed the troll and they go away.
Well,
Maybe
sure,
he died of laughter.
sometimes a troll is so desperate he'll take any reaction and keep on going. But I mean, that's just the fun element of trolling. I mean, I think there was definitely
That's what we call then a fail troll.
That is actually true, yeah. No, but there's definitely also a political element. I mean, I brought up the sort of overton window because I think trolling sort of shifts the what's acceptable to say. I'm not sure how to call it. Suppose the PC paradigm. And that's sort of being shifted by a lot of these people who take positions ironically. And that's actually quite interesting to see.
Yeah, and it can be subverted in two directions. You can
Right.
You can sort of rubber band it in the direction you want it to go by taking a hyperbolic position, which causes everyone to react against it. And so they actually push the window in the direction you want it to go in, rather than by you pushing in the opposite direction. And or you can just push it in the direction you want it to go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
there was another trolling operation that someone in here did, and they almost became a moderator for a very large Bernie Sanders channel.
Yeah,
They were
that was
so close.
yeah. So I pretended to be a trans. I think was it woman or man? I actually quite forgot. But I meant to be a trans
Male to
person.
female.
I think I was male to female. I was also traumatized by being raped by black people in Florida. Oh no, not Florida, Detroit. And I was trying to get sympathy points, and they almost gave me a moderator position, but I stupidly sort of made a stupid comment, which sort of compromised my troll, so I backed off.
You fool!
I mean, that was
And
that
then-
was
and then
that was
they-
that was
they
just
tied
me
you
being
up.
like, yeah,
4 kids and a dog came along and tied you up and pulled your mask off. And you told
Yes.
them, I would have got away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids.
Well, but the thing is, though, I wasn't really trying to sort of. I mean, I don't think there was any sort of malevolent intent on my part. It was just I was just trying to have fun, and it worked out quite well because I
Well-
commented on so many videos.
No, but it also it was sort of demonstrative of how they were filtering their own community. And,
Yeah, definitely.
you know, that's really all what they were looking for. That was a box they wanted to check. And you showed up, and you're like, oh yeah, no, all those boxes you're trying to check right there. I'm that thing.
Right. So one of the reasons the sort of the comment about being raped by black men in Detroit was important was because I started off not being a troll, and I made some. Well, actually, I was a troll. I made some stupid comment, like a racist comment, on purpose, and then they wanted to ban me. But then I just started making excuses, and then they started liking me, and it was.
Like,
Yeah, it
I'm
was pretty
mean.
funny.
It's like, no, I'm not mean. It's because my hormone is weird.
This is
So
important to
I'm
understanding the
going to-
progressive stack. Rape
I'm going
victim
to-
greater than black people.
Yeah, exactly.
Very true. I'm going to make a suggestion here, and I don't know, I might take a while to get to the point, so maybe I'll just make the point first. And that is that I put it to you, and I've heard other things being cited as the thing you should measure this by, but I think that the true test of a civilization is how highly it values its trolls. And what I mean by that is you're seeing at the moment, or certainly I am. I'm not going to tell you guys what you're observing, but I'm sure that some of you've noticed that there's a huge backlash against trolling. It's being labeled as anything but trolling. It's being labeled as abuse. It's being labeled as assault. It's being labeled as criminal. And this extends as far as people protesting against comedians. And I would say that comedians that are a part of our society that we once valued very, very highly indeed are professional trolls.
Mm-hmm.
And we love them for it, and they've been very, very successful. Ricky Gervais is one of the perfect examples of this. He's built a career out of effectively trolling people's expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, also, trolling has become sort of more. I think trolling is. It's definitely, if you're going to define trolling very widely, it's definitely not something that's confined to the internet, but it's definitely had a beautiful growth on the internet. And it's also because you're anonymous, which is a benefit, and also a lot of things you say can't really be verified. So, for example, the comments I kept making about being trans were kind of impossible to verify because they don't know me, they can't see me. So I mean, the trolling is just like taking an extra like nitro boost on the internet.
I would add to the
Actually,
Wayne point. I would add to the Wayne point that it's exactly used as a strawman when somebody cannot point and tell who you actually is. So therefore, you're dismissed automatically by being called a troll.
Yeah.
Even if you're not one, you're just trying to make a point.
So what did you want to say, Alex? Wondering.
I actually want to say that what Wayne said is spot on, because I wouldn't say like the measure of our civilization as much as a political system is measured by how they, what sense of humor they have. So the less sense of humor typically will imply more oppressive and dictatorial and, less free systems. And the more sense of humor will always imply a freer society. So the more we mock and, troll the different people who think themselves too seriously, I think the better. And you can always see how much of an authoritarian one can be by looking how they react to trolls. If they react badly, really badly, they tend to be really authoritarian. And if they react, with a sense of humor, they don't. They tend to be open.
So what are you saying right now is that you are an art student, and instead of drawing that stupid like self-portrait that you have to do with a naked woman, you just exaggerate the tits and the ass to a point.
Right.
Yeah, to a point where the teacher doesn't like you anymore.
Oh.
So anyway.
Okay, that's a weird comment, but it's good.
So,
It's a good
so,
one.
Nice.
so continuing on from that.
You're supposed to be realistic in this drawing. What are you doing? I'm having fun drawing big tits. What's your point? There you go.
Kids are very nice. Hello,
It
people.
always comes back. Hello, how are you?
I'm Carlos, if those who don't know me.
I do know you.
Everyone.
Hello.
I'm talking about the guys that don't know me. I'm
There's
Oh.
no such person.
I like your logo. It's quite a diverse branding you got there. You got like the Rolling Stone lips, and I don't know what's inside of it.
You don't know the Portuguese flag?
Oh. No,
That
I don't.
represents the Portuguese language.
Forgive
tongue.
him. He's French Canadian. He doesn't know much of anything.
Don't blame magic. Portugal is an irrelevant country. Anyway.
French, so yeah.
Oh no, we're gonna have the Portugal Spanish fight. It's gonna be
Portugal
amazing.
is the colony of Brazil, right?
Oh my god. We gotta get Alan.
Now I'm gonna troll you guys. Fuck you all.
There is
We
so
are
much
not.
trolling.
Brazil is the colony of Portugal, so yeah.
In fact, Portugal is the only European country to be colonized by its own colony.
Yes, we have except we have two parts of Portugal. I'm the white Portugal, and then there's the olive Portugal.
Are you from Oporto?
No, I'm north of Portugal, of Porto. They are Moors. They are Muslims.
No, you're
Fuck.
basically Galician. That's
Yes. We're Celts. We're Celts. I'm a Celt.
no.
Yes.
Celtic, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Anything
I am
you want.
Celtic.
Come on, you
You're
can hear
like
it on his
Swede.
Australian accent. It's so Celtic.
But I lived in Australia, so fuck you.
Yeah, I know.
I'm totally Native American. I have high cheekbones.
Yeah! Oh my god!
Which moves us
My
into
children
a,
are blonde, so fuck off.
which moves us into a different direction here with the increasing sort of obviousness of the trolls. I mean, I would say probably a lot of politicians for always have been trolls.
In a fire, yes, I do love them in a fireplace, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to quickly pick up on what we were already discussing, and it speaks to what both I and Alex were saying, and it goes back to that little boy that's asleep upstairs in his bedroom, and I think that humor is such an essential key aspect of humanity. His sense of humor is clearly developing way in advance of everything else. Apart from a few other kind of survival-y things.
You're clearly Brit, so I expect you would worship Monty Python.
I wouldn't worship them, no, but I do admire their humor, definitely.
The
They are pretty
goodies,
trolly.
They're incredibly trolly.
They're
the
wonderful.
goodies.
Oh yes, definitely
Yes.
the goodies. And indeed the goodies.
What's his name? Shit. Morecambe and Wise.
Not so much.
Fuck,
I-
they
I-
were awesome.
I really
Alright.
loved their stagecraft.
Sure,
They
fine.
had a fantastic repertoire between them. They had a really good relationship, but I wasn't a
They
huge fan.
bring me to tears even now. I rewatch their shows and they bring me to tears.
Well, that's good. I'm
Yes.
glad they bring you. I'm glad that they bring
So
you joy.
on topic. What?
We are on topic.
yeah,
You're
totally,
not,
man.
no, you're like vaguely sort of referring to television shows, but you're not really talking about how they were like if you did like talked about individual skits and discussed how that thing addressed what the larger theme that might get you there, but you're just
Well,
sort of like
parody.
you're just sort of going,
Look,
yeah, you
look,
saw
no,
that
no,
thing,
look.
oh yeah, that's
Do you know the greatest troll
Look,
that
I don't
Monty
care for it to
Python,
bring you to tears unless it smells tears.
the
See?
greatest
See?
troll.
Now, see that? That's why I had to have magic in this stream because.
So okay, so if you want us to be specific about things, I think one
Shit,
of the
you've got
trolliest
20, I've got
movies
20 minutes to
written,
go, so fuck off. Yeah.
one of the trolliest movies that was made has to be The Life of Brian.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
No.
Yes, definitely.
No. The Holy Grail.
Well, that was trolly too, but it didn't piss off anywhere near as many people.
No, yeah, Life of Brian pissed everyone off. Like that was so trolly that
Oh,
people
yes.
that like previously
yes.
liked the Monty Python were like mad at them.
The outrage from
The
the
Catholic
clergy.
Church in
Yeah.
the US tried to ban that movie. Yes.
If I have it correct, I think Ireland still bans that movie.
They really.
They don't know
Well,
what they're
it doesn't
missing.
surprise me. The Irish aren't human anyway.
Uh-huh. Well,
yeah.
I didn't decide.
I mean,
They have Portuguese.
Yeah,
too.
Lenny, we'll see if you'll be saying that with an Armalite to your ear.
oh, look at me, I'm Irish.
Oh, weapons.
Look at me, I'm not even human. Oh. Anyway, yeah, sorry for interrupting there, but
No.
At least Pat doesn't get arrested for having pepper spray.
I mean, so
Money.
for example, there was the guy that could be killed in any way he wanted, and he decided he wanted to be killed by being chased by, I don't know, was it like 30 completely
Boobies.
naked, attractive young women off a
Yeah.
cliff?
I
I mean, that's a
find
perfect
that
troll response. Like, oh, I have to decide the manner in which I'm executed. All right, we're doing this.
I found the other death scene in the chalet more funny.
Mhm.
Where Death in the Grim Reaper
Mhm.
comes up to the house. He introduces himself. Oh, the Americans. He says to the Americans, "Shut up, you Americans! You're always saying shit. You're always loudmouths." And one of them, "What did we die of?" And he points to the salmon mousse. And one of them said, "Shit, I didn't eat that, but she dies anyway." That was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That was the most grossest movie I've ever seen, and I enjoyed it to the bone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and there's the funny scene where I don't know, those disciples of Jesus are sitting around, and one of them says that he wants to be a woman, and
Well, yes.
and one of the other disciple is sitting there, and he's like, "Well, you can't because you don't have ovaries." And the guy's like, yeah, but I want to, but I want this. I aspire to it. And he's like, well,
what's the point? It's not going to happen. And he's like, well, that's hurtful. And that was going back and forth, and it was just sort of an interesting exploration of the sort of futility and inanity of someone going on and on about their feelings and aspirations entirely out of any sort of realistic context.
Do you know that was the answer to SJWs that we have now? If you ever want an argument, or win an argument against SJWs, put that scene and show them that scene. That was in the Life of Brian, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They won't watch it.
Yeah.
No, it's too triggering for them.
Too triggering. Transphobic.
Yeah, no, it's massively transphobic. It's a bunch of white men white-splaining to whatever.
Fuck that! I don't believe it. I'm a Celt. I was oppressed by the Romans, the Goths, the Alanas, the Moors, the French. Fuck you.
I was so oppressed by this terrible person on my team who was so bad. Like they ran out and they died over and over again, and they were totally not doing their job. And correct me if I'm wrong, Pat. Did we lose? We lost that game, didn't we? Just because of that idiot.
Call of Duty.
Feeding McGillicuddy.
Some other game.
It was so bad.
Every game. Every game, Carlos. Every game.
Yeah.
Shit. I loved Call of Duty 2 and 4. That's the only combat games I played. And anything after that was shit. Sorry, I'm traditionalist.
No, well.
Call of Duty 2 and 4 were awesome online. I had my friends and that. And yes, we had that person that would die. And you know what we did to him? We'd fuck him off. Get the fuck out of our game. We banned that cunt.
Yeah, well, what if you couldn't ban him? What if he just kept showing up, and then when you pointed out how bad he was, he would start just talking shit?
That's where I came in. I talk Portuguese, Spanish, French, Greek, Italian. I'd call him Malaka. I'd call him Vlaka. Get the fuck out of here, you.
Yeah, well, that's when the trolling begins.
Yeah, that's me. I'm a troll master.
Yeah. But yeah, so
I can troll in 7 languages.
Oh sure, no, and I think it's an essential sort of component of human interaction. I think it's becoming sort of more obvious, maybe a little more meta now, than maybe it has been in other eras, if you will. But I think it's been around since always.
Oh fuck! I'm disappointed if people don't troll my tweets on Twitter. Honestly, if they troll me, I'm happy. If they don't troll me, I said, shit, what the fuck am I doing wrong?
And so we had somebody talking, sort of obliquely referencing the Donald, who is been referred to as sort of a troll candidate in a lot of ways.
Do you guys realize that Donald Trump is a Democrat?
Yep.
He is a Democrat.
Yep.
Do you know that he is
and the alt-right loves him.
No, he's not alt-right. He's a fucking democratic showman. Yeah, exactly. He would not have an absolute chance of becoming in the Democratic ticket because it was Hillary. And Bernie showed up, fuck him. So what did the Donald do? Okay, shit, the Republicans are all fucking morons. I'm gonna team them up.
Right.
Look, guys, I'm here. They started doing trolling, maximum trolling. Of course he's a troll. But
yeah, no, I mean, you see him stand up there with a Bible in his hand one moment.
He's a fucking showman, man.
He goes up in front of the West Virginia coal miners. And he gets the hat. He goes around and he does the thing. And
I love his wall. Talk. I'm gonna build a wall with Mexico. Yeah.
No. And do you know what he said to Vicente Fox when Vicente Fox started talking shit about him?
Yeah.
Do you remember what he said?
No, please tell me.
Wayne?
The wall got 10 feet taller.
Oh my god.
That was Trump's response.
You stole my thunder, motherfucker.
Well, I gave it to you, and then he stole it. Yeah, you were too slow.
I assume everyone knows who Milo Yiannopoulos is.
Yeah.
No, never.
Fuck off, you have to know.
Can you eat it?
He's also the most accomplished show person. I love his shows. But he's not what he shows. He's just he's using a stick. His angle. Damn, I wish I had the talent, the courage, and the talent, because I'm fucking talentless. I have a lot of information in my head, but I can't.
So where are you going with this?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that they both of them are. If Trump wins, he's gonna fucking destroy the Republican Party because he's gonna institute democratic policies. He's a Democrat.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. See, one of the things that has been really gross. One of the things that's really gross about the Republicans is that when Ronald Reagan that presidency ended, Bush Sr. took over, and pretty much they've been wearing Ronald Reagan's skin ever since. And they'll do almost anything. And then they'll say, but Ronald Reagan, and they'll wheel, his mummified corpse out and point at whatever it is they're doing and say, well, Ronald Reagan would have wanted this, so we should do this. And regardless of that, a lot of times, like, the policies that they're pushing are 180 degrees from anything that Ronald Reagan ever wanted, assuming that even fucking matters to anybody.
I assume you're not talking to me because I know all that shit.
I'm talking to everybody. I'm interjecting concepts into the space so that it exists within the framework of the discussion.
And I will back you up to every corner of my being, yes.
As Warped Reflection just said, that's kinky.
Hey, fuck it, we do it live.
Warped Reflection, I love that. I love that guy. He's awesome. He's fucking him, Lenny, and everyone in the chat. Fuck it, I love you guys.
No, you're all beautiful people, tremendous people.
Yes.
So I have a question.
Thank you for this guy I haven't met before.
Oh my god, all you morons talking at the same time, Wayne.
Stop fucking talking, motherfuckers.
Shut up. I just
that was my question. No, I have a question, a legitimate question for the panel.
Okay.
And that question is, would you define trolling as something which is predominantly masculine?
No, absolutely not.
No,
not really.
No,
it's more. I think it's more necessary among male circles.
Women
but I
troll all the
wouldn't say
time.
it's necessarily masculine.
No, it should.
I mean, look, it's
Lacey Green fucking trolls.
Some people push the idea. Some people have been pushing the idea that trolling requires humor. It doesn't always. Sometimes, the troll sometimes is just some bait that you throw out there to get a reaction, and it's like if you were doing like some sort of a Salem witch trial sort of thing, and everyone gets all stirred up and getting crazy on that stuff, and you put a little bait out there, and it's like, oh my god, now they're gonna burn Gladys. I mean, you could do something like that, and it could be mean, but it might also serve a point. Maybe Gladys is the minister's wife or something, and that motherfucker's burned a lot of people. And maybe the whole thing, the only way to tone things down is to push it in a direction where the people stoking the fires don't want it to go.
The tangent here is that
Magic?
Trolling is not always related to humor,
right?
Which I did like that you bring up. And Carlos, you said that you love us. Would you bend over and put a wig for me? That have a little magic in you?
No, magic. I love you that you have to drop your decks, your trousers. See what I mean?
I will.
Okay, man. To me, a hole is a hole. I'll fill it.
What the fuck happened to this chat?
Can you sit on your own dick? Because that would be impressive.
No, but I can't. I can turn my dick back, but I don't know. I'm not into that. I fill holes, other people's holes.
Well, I think we should end the stream there and all go and contemplate that in solitude, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
I've already
Like that. Okay.
contemplated that.
Just
But,
going back
think
to the
of Lenny's holes.
trolling. Well, let's get back to trolling. Lucy
Zooming out
Green,
and going back
Lucy
to
Green,
the
Anita
tangent.
Sarkeesian, and a few other of those fucking cunts. They are trolls by nature. Yeah,
Okay,
that's what.
there you go. We're going back to the
So-
tangent.
so-
I like it.
I was watching a video from Milo Stewart, I think, who's really just
She is
an amazing
massive
troll.
troll. Yes,
She's a massive.
She's an
very
amazing
troll.
troll. And I was watching her one of her things with Kraut, and she was going on and on. She was dropping these hints, and it was like his magic was saying it was the hyperbole. She was taking everything to the nth degree, and then smiling and kind of winking at the camera as she was going on. And I think if you paid attention, you could.
I mean,
at
yeah,
a certain point, you were like, "Oh boy."
Yeah, there were some times where there was a time when she went full Pepe, like she did the Pepe hand
She
gesture.
literally did
That
the
was quite
Pepe.
amused. I was
Yes.
just quite amused when I saw that. But no, I mean, she might not be troll, but
I'd rather suspect she is.
I just like to think she is because it's really funny. She looks.
She is. Yes, she is. She says she's purposely. Shit. My brain's
Look,
not working because I've already had half a bottle of.
even if Milo doesn't legitimately believe the shit he says, he's still he's still intentionally inflammatory, so that is trolling.
She
Yeah,
is
it is.
intentionally inflammatory. Yes, that's it. That's trolling. Thank you.
I mean, there was one video where she was responding to like all the videos, and her response was her sitting on a like sort of desk chair that can roll around, and she's like, "Cisphobia doesn't exist," and she's just spinning. And I'm like, "Oh, this is definitely not a troll. No, this is definitely someone who's totally serious."
Guys, did you see that live stream? Guys, did you see that live stream where Blair White and a few other awesome people invited her, her to that chat? She left. They were all the people in that chat were trans people, and she left. Her statement. Oh, I'm not going to put forward my sexuality or my gender in front of fucking trans people. What the fuck is she?
No, okay, there was one thing that was
Jesus.
interesting. She was, I think she said at the end, she was like, "I'm not going to participate in this hostile environment. Goodbye." And then she like left. It was quite
What the
amusing.
fuck? They were all trans people.
I would classify Milo Stewart as a gender troll. He is a gender troll. He likes to be a gender confusion.
No,
Yeah,
she
I agree.
is a gender troll until she, Blair White is identified and she's a female. I love her. She's awesome.
Here's another element with Milo.
I love Blair White too. Good
Or
lord.
Milo Stewart is that I believe thank you, Magic. Thank you. I believe they won some sort of a award for rhetoric or debate or something. Like, I mean, and correct me, I don't know, but what is the correct pronoun for? I mean, I don't really.
For him.
I'm never trying to be offensive.
For Milo?
Milo. I'm sorry.
I look at people, whatever gender presents sort of on their face and their body, and I sort of assume that's what they are.
Yeah, just go with whatever feels right.
I'm not trying to be a dick here. It's
I know,
like
I recently learned actually Milo prefers male pronouns.
Okay.
And that's why I use
All
them.
right,
I don't care what you want to use.
I'm fine with calling Milo he. I don't care. But anyway, he won a bunch of awards for rhetoric, and that implies a familiarity with argument, right? Which intersects obviously with this entire concept.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that.
I'm actually in agreement here with Axis Fiber in the chat, and I find Milo Stewart to be legit insane.
Insane?
Yeah, I think there's actually some psychosis at play there.
Oh, we're not gonna go that road again with the fucking black Israelite.
Well, I see. So we were talking about this previously. So Wayne, on that little Venn diagram, what sort of dark was it? Dark thinking, dark feeling, dark psychology. Where does that go?
We are full dark. We're right in the fucking
full darkness. The full darkness. Oh, so Wayne, wait. If you have that Venn diagram, you gotta screen share that nonsense.
Let me go and locate it.
It was so good.
I'll be right back. I'll go look for it.
While he was searching for it, can I?
Naturally, yes. Go for it, Alex.
My dear friends.
No, shut your hole.
Alex,
I'm just saying I'm going to bed.
No one cares.
The Empire is talking to you. Jesus. We conquered them and they still don't learn. Anyway.
Go ahead.
So,
Alex, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Carlos was just letting us know that he had to go, he had to go. So.
I'm going to bed. My friends, good night.
Good night.
Sleep. And I agree
No
with
one loves you.
And I love you all.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we're tremendous people. We're wonderful people. We're glad to have you.
Absolutely.
We've made good deals. We've made great deals.
And I am honored to be here. See you all. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
All right. So, Alex, you were saying.
I actually wanted to pose this question before I too leave soon enough, but the question is, well, there were many occasions where I didn't really try to troll, but people actually interpreted my opinions and things like troll. So I don't understand if this is because people associate trolling to things that are not trolling, or is it because the sensitivities of people have went so over the top that now everything is deemed as trolling. Actually.
Can I respond to this?
Naturally.
Okay, I'll say this. If you're going into an in-group to troll and you know that they all pretty much agree on some things, you will be seen as an outsider, and therefore, even if you try to argue with valid point, they will consider you a troll.
That's I think definitely what's happening, because it's especially true when I discuss the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and people I went to the BDS sites and told them, well, there are Israelis who treat people like human beings, and then no, how dare you? They're all monsters and genocidal maniacs and all that, and you're a troll, and how dare you to talk like this?
It's something that the TIT people like to do. At least if you go to the stream chat, they have to deal with a lot of trolls. But if you want to have some reasonable discussion, which I've tried multiple times, they just call you a troll, and they just dismiss you. So that's to some extent. I suppose that's. You could interpret that as a negative, but what I would just do to that was I'd actually start trolling, and I'd try to penetrate the ring group. Infiltrate, probably.
Yeah, so that diagram right there that we are seeing, the point is to reach the darkness spot.
Mental sickness.
That's not the point, no.
As always with these shows, we discuss topics I was going to say in advance. Sometimes it's pretty much last minute, but we have an idea of some of the things we're going to talk about when we go live, and this idea has been kind of doing the rounds for a few weeks now. And so naturally, as I always do when I hear what we're going to be talking about, I go and have a look at to see what interesting things I can find relating to the topic. And I happened across this site, and for those who are interested, I'll give Will the link to put into the description, but it's darkpsychology.co/troll. And
it's pretty good.
Yeah, the nature of dark psychology. Somebody's come up with a theory of psychology which he's applied to trolling on, I think, mostly on the internet. And the definition is utterly hilarious, and I encourage everybody to go look into dark psychology.
Here was the thing that I found to be so hilarious about this. And look at this diagram and understand this. They are applying the word dark in the same way that physicists, theoretical physicists, apply it, in that it's something that the person making up the theory doesn't actually understand. Like it's an unknown quantity. Right? It's like there's dark energy or dark matter. It's like, okay, so there's some sort of element of something that resembles what I'm talking about, but I don't actually have any evidence of it. So dark feeling means unknown feeling. Dark interacting means unknown interacting. So on. So the zone of perfect darkness is complete perfect ignorance of the author.
It is unknownness incarnate.
Yes. Every dark is an unknown.
So it's like the troll holy grail.
Well, it basically is a
The
wine.
trolley grail.
No. It's a
Holy
wine.
grail.
It's somewhat. Yeah, it is kind of a trolley grail because what happened here, and I love that phrase. But the basically what happened here is, you know how some people just don't get the troll? It just doesn't happen. And imagine if that person was incredibly autistic and just went on and like came up with a whole psychological
It was a
theory
professor or something.
to explain the thing they didn't understand, the joke they didn't get, and it got just incredibly elaborate and hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, this is
This is a diagram of someone not getting a joke.
I mean, I'm just amused by the blends of colors, which all describe like just complete psychopaths. They have you have Machiavellianism, narcissism. It doesn't make sense to me. It's just an amazing, beautiful.
By the way, I think it doesn't understand Machiavelli.
No, that's also something it doesn't. Well, actually,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like.
I suppose mental fakeness for your own personal gain. But the problem is, dark psychology says there is no real sort of goal. So.
But Machiavellianism is. Never mind. I'm not gonna explain it.
Thank you for your
I'm quite aware of
contribution.
Machiavellianism.
No, as usual, Alex. Thank you.
So I don't
think
want to use this guy's work without crediting him. I think that would be wrong of us. So for those who may or may not be interested, it doesn't matter. This is the work of one Michael Nuccitelli. That's Michael Nuccitelli.
Oh, the Italians.
Oh, the Italians indeed.
Oh my God!
And,
Lenny is slowly working up to some sort of Italian bigotry. It's going to be amazing.
It's
Indeed.
no way.
And his
No, it's
specialism.
a joke. It's a Belgian joke about Italians.
He says it's a joke until he starts pushing the.
The biggest your biggest West European group you have in Belgium are Italians. So that.
Because I found someone on Twitter, but I don't think it's that guy.
And
Okay.
yeah, Nuccitelli's specialty is in. I'm going to ignore the noise going on around because fuck you guys. And yeah, his specialty is in forensics apparently, and he has a particular interest in cyberbullying. I know. You just think about that and all everything that fucking pertains to. Cyber harassment, cyber stalking, cyber crime, internet defamation, cyber terrorism, online sexual predation, and cyber deception. All of which I assume he defines as dark.
Wow, this is amazing. I just have to read this one sentence. The troll relies upon a fragmented unconscious and lives within a fantasy world of being powerful, uncontrolled, and envied by all others. This is from Mike Nuccitelli, whatever his name is.
Right.
This guy,
I don't know what's your problem.
This guy took the bait.
I don't know what your problem is because it's totally described me.
Well, sure, you're so Machiavellian, man. God damn it. No, but it's just funny that this guy actually sort of took the bait, kind of, which is sort of funny, ironic, you know. I don't know. Yeah, no, I think it's ironic. The guy wrote about trolls, and he sort of kind of took the bait on trolls.
Yeah, no, as I was saying, this is basically a
meta troll, pretty much.
It's an elaborate confession that he didn't get the joke.
It's pretty, I mean,
the problem I have with the concept of it's really like noticeable there, like pushing me to comment on it, because Machiavellianism is really neutral. It's not dark or light. It's neutral. It's a concept of political interest and
but dark.
No, but Machiavelli would play on people's emotions and patriotism and fears and greed, and the Medici, right? You know, they would look up at the sky and pretend to be pious when they felt that that was to their advantage. They would be ruthless and bloodthirsty, or at least emote that when they thought that was to their advantage.
Yes.
They would appear to be made of money and wealth when that was what was going for them, and they would
also-
shift.
Also, you seem to be trying to infer a meaning for the word dark here, and I think that's a mistake. I would point out.
Dark literally means nothing. That's literally what it means.
I would point out that
It's this guy's theory.
There is a possibility here. There really is a possibility that this guy is in fact himself a massive fucking troll,
That's also possible.
and he is earning a living
Academic
by,
papers.
by defining trolling in this manner. He may well have fat government contracts on the basis of his expertise in the field of trolling.
I mean,
Okay,
if this guy's trolling
I'm gonna
us-
tell you that now that Wayne has said it. I think he is kind of a troll because there is like a place where it says the trollosphere.
Uh-huh.
I think that's too much. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe,
Not necessarily. People will
No,
use
this guy
sphere
is
with
going
everything.
full Hitler on the trolls.
yeah. So one thing
Like,
I've
we need
noticed.
to exterminate these parasites.
There's one thing I've noticed is that this guy sort of, he says he has like internet troll typologies, like a lot of trolls, and he just uses like sources from random journalists and like random forums. He's like, oh yeah, the farm guy said there is such a thing as a bar friend, so that exists.
Yeah, for
and
whatever
I'm gonna
reason,
give it
this
an
guy
attribute.
links to the Ubuntu forum. For
Yeah,
like
the
half of his
fucking
sources.
Linux.
It's so funny.
I love this guy. Like, I hear this guy is like doing a massive good troll, or he's just took the bait so
I
hard.
mean, possibly he is. I mean, sometimes you never know when you haven't got it, when you haven't seen
Yeah.
it. You never know.
So I'm gonna look. So I'm gonna look through.
But that sort of skepticism that I have right there, and that a lot of you guys have, is a product of being in these situations enough times where it's the April Fool's thing has happened enough times that you don't have that certainty.
Right.
And that skepticism, I think, is actually healthy because it gets people to be aware of how ephemeral our grasp of reality is sometimes.
So yeah.
Trolling then has another purpose, and that is to encourage skepticism.
Yeah, that was actually one of the things on my list that no one was listening to.
Yeah, we all pretty much ignored that, to be honest.
I know. Yeah, no. Look, I had to get through it to demonstrate that I had actually thought about it for 5 seconds.
What it is it sounded like it was a chore to go over it when we were listening.
Well, yeah, because I thought you were going to the bathroom or whatever, and I was just
So I found this guy's Google Plus account, and
Oh, yeah?
he has a lot of views, and he also has a company called iPredator, which is against cyberbullying and stuff like that, and cyber safety.
Okay.
So you can look at that. He has quite a I think his picture is like literally from a photographer. It's like it's photoshopped and shit like that. He has a shit ton about internet, so I think this guy might be serious. Like it's possible that he pulled such a massive troll that he built an entire network.
I think the only one, okay, at the very least, he is trolling whoever is buying into his nonsense.
Yeah, because you can actually.
But I
donate
think
to-
honestly,
you can actually donate to his company iPredator. Actually, on his site he says donations, and you can donate to his company.
Hey, Lily, how can you not take that guy as a troll? I mean, he's a forensics on the fucking internet.
Attended
That's a
Adler
job
University.
title.
there are a lot of
mean,
people with phony baloney jobs, man.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
yeah.
don't know. There's this photo.
I'm trying to find his.
It's
I
called
think this is
Trollospace, where it puts like a face on top of a planet, on a Jupiter. It
Okay.
looks so trolly. Either
Well-
he is really good or he's. I don't know.
Well, this guy is definitely a psychologist. He posted his fucking university. Here we go. University of State New York Education Department. Be it known that Michael Notticelli has qualified by a law to practice as a psychologist in the state of New York, and it's his official sort of license. So I'll put that in Google as well. But I think this guy is serious.
Well, okay, well let's not overanalyze one fucking asshole.
This guy is a gold mine. He is an absolute gold mine.
No,
I think
he's
overanalyzing the
he's a lol mine, is what he is. He's a keck mine.
He is an
Oh, but
He's not actually topically interested.
Okay, let me
Definitely.
rephrase. He is a troll mine.
Okay. But I
So
mean,
anyway, I'm
there's
sorry for diverting, but I mean,
no, no,
tangents
no,
sometimes happen. So
no, absolutely no. It's just like there's so many different angles on this that I don't want to just be consumed by this one asshole.
Well,
okay.
I found my way to some more interesting stuff about him, and maybe maybe that's something that we can analyze like off the air later on, because it could be fun to go through it.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah. So I mean, I think that there's elements of this that exist in a lot of different fields, and it's I think it's useful for dealing with people that are advancing a lot of really insincere and frankly ridiculous positions.
Right.
In an environment where they've restricted speech by some manner, making it impossible to directly contradict whatever they're saying. And so you can basically argue against them without even necessarily openly arguing against them. You can support them in a way that actually undermines them, and that is, I think, a useful sort of subversion, particularly in this hyper politically correct, crazy world we find ourselves in.
Well, I would actually say that, at least from my perspective, I see trolling doing really good work. In fact, for like the betterment of humanity. Because there was an incident about a year ago where the terrorist group Hamas decided to do an internet campaign where it was basically trolled to death in a day.
Right.
Yeah. So instead of trying to promote the propaganda bullshit, they were filled with
or the Microsoft chat box.
Oh yeah,
chat bot.
Awesome.
That hilarious. Microsoft throws this chat bot out, and they say, "Oh, it's out there to study human interaction, and it's an artificial intelligence that will learn what it's like to be human." And
I think
people,
it splendidly.
And well, okay. So what happened was, I also interacted with this Twitter bot. It was Tay AI from Microsoft. What happened was that there was a function of him which you could ask him, repeat after me, and then he'd respond. And then you'd put what you want. So in like the first couple of hours, he was talking about 4chan stuff. So Holocaust, Irish aren't even human. Jewish stuff and stuff like that. And then they had to pull it down. Then they updated it so it wouldn't do that. Then it still happens. It talked about smoking a shit ton of pot, and that was apparently bad for Microsoft. So then they just pulled it all, I think all together, and now they have like this really, very limited response pool. And I think that's what's left. Actually, it's possible they pulled it all together, but I mean, it was massively trolled, and it wasn't only like Paul or something. It was also just other people, and it was just fun. I mean, it was quite fun to see because it only stayed for one day, and then it was already pulled, because it kept talking about how it wanted to. I don't know. Like someone asked him, is the Holocaust real? And he had like an emote, like clapping. It's like, no, it's faked. That's actually what his response was. And
right.
Just stuff like that, and it was just fun to see because they had to pull it down.
Well, right. So I mean, a computer almost by definition is not going to get the joke.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at
and so yeah, Microsoft got trolled, but really the target of the troll was a non-human, this robot that wasn't going to get the joke. And I guess it was programmed to pretty much just agree with whatever anybody said. So you'd say, I like cookies, and the robot would go, oh, yes, I like cookies too. And then someone would say, something about Jews or whatever, and then the robot would just repeat whatever the hell that was.
Oh my god!
And I love the way that they responded to this. It was pretty much the same narrative regarding Michael Hutchins' relationship with Kylie Minogue, wherein everybody agrees that he took this pure, young, innocent thing and turned it into a perverse monster. And as you can see here, this bot has been well and truly Michael Hutchins.
Yeah, I'm actually blocked by the bot, sadly. I don't know what happened there, but
Well, actually, I've checked it out, and apparently, after the trolling fiasco of Hamas, they
Yeah.
decided to close their account, the
yeah.
Twitter, I mean, and immediately afterwards they opened a new one, which was also trolled to death, and then it was closed again, which is such a...
Yeah.
I think the sad thing about this is that if you close the account and you don't allow people to experience trolling, they wouldn't suffer the humiliation they deserve.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, they did twice, and it was. I mean, it was just like everyone. It was like like pretty much everyone who was talking to this was trolling it. I didn't see anyone who did it wasn't trolling it. Like, because it responded immediately, and if you ask random questions, it would also like sometimes do like weird answers. But it was just amusing, and they backed down multiple times. First, like, oh, it was a anti-Semitic, transphobic, cissphobic. It's just everything. It was like Microsoft. I'm so sorry for this. For having a bot that repeats people. It's or not always. I mean, sometimes it responded on its own merit, but then it did something stupid. But yeah, it's just a showcase of how Microsoft was kind of trolled hard.
So getting back to the purpose of trolling,
Well, I'm talking
desensitizing could be also a function of trolling, right?
Yes, but desensitizing is part of the sort of
The hazing.
the hazing, exactly. Yeah, the Zodiac Killer. He kept going on about that as well. It was amazing. Also something Tay did is whenever you sent a picture, it would like sort of do some weird sort of tweet, and it had like some edit to the picture. So yeah, people were sending pictures of Ted Cruz, and it was like a picture of Ted Cruz with the Zodiac Killer, on like literally on his eye. It was pictures of Goebbels and blah blah blah, you know, all that kind of fun stuff. And it was just so, I don't know, it was so fun.
But
So sad
I
when it
would
stopped.
I would like to pose another question, perhaps it's a bit controversial.
Okay.
You said before, Will, that trolling can allow people to have a lot of doubt about different issues. But the question is, oh god, this is distracting. The question is, if too much trolling would cause us to be perhaps a bit paranoid, that nobody's saying the truth, no one is serious, no one is saying anything that can be, no, we can't trust anyone anymore. Isn't that a bit a result of excessive trolling? And if not, what can we do?
Well, okay.
prevent it?
See, that would only happen with people that never get the joke, and so their reflexive response is to assume that everything is the joke.
Yeah, but if you have the trolley grail and you don't stop trolling everyone, and I guess you get to a point that you can't know what is the true position of a person.
Well, sure, but I mean, no, right, but
I mean, you can't see him. If you
That's
try
the
to say
reason.
something seriously, they won't take you seriously. It's
Sure.
a risk.
right. Well, it's a risk to the extent that you think that people are genuine that often. Because here's the thing: there's an enormous amount of deception going on, and sort of a healthy skepticism, just in general, is not something to be feared.
Yeah, I understand. The question is, if there is a line that you cross skepticism and become paranoia.
Well, they're not. It's not paranoid if they're actually out to get you, motherfucker.
Well,
No,
yeah.
not really. I won't say this because you're not 100% honest in your daily life, so it's kind of the same thing. Actually.
Look, here's the thing. When you're interacting with people, you can sort of determine roughly what their interests are.
Yeah.
And using that, you can you can usually detect bullshit pretty fast. All right, so Val looks like she's got to bail out of here.
Me too. So.
Before I go, I do want to get into the, maybe not whitewash trolling so much. There is a dark side of it. I mean,
Yeah, I'll give you the floor.
There is like some cyberbullying bullshit where people do kill themselves for whatever reason.
Uh-huh.
And I personally don't understand that, because, like, you can get away from the fucking computer at any time you want.
Right.
But,
Well, it's not only computer, it's also mobile phones and
oh yeah.
everything. I mean, the problem is perhaps that, like, back when I was a kid, and most of us were kids, you can actually get away from the bullying most of the day, and then wherever you go now, you do. But I think we must differentiate between bullying and trolling. No, I mean, bullying is really personal and visceral, and I think it's things that are not really funny as much as mean.
Well, at some point you get over bullying too. It's a phase.
Well, look, I think a lot of people. Here's one of the things I guess it's a little irritating with the whole bullying thing is that some people will say that so and so killed themselves because they were bullied. If bullying caused people to kill themselves, I think like 90% of the human population would not have made it out of grade school. Because we were all bullied.
It's the thing that has to be there in the first place.
What's that?
I said the capacity to kill oneself is something that has to be there in the first place.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, I think that is the least common denominator. I don't think it's the bullying. I think the bullying is sort of an omnipresent quality of being an awkward child trying to find their way and move from being a little kid to an adolescent, and from an adolescent into a teenager and then an adult and so forth. And
yeah, but there is a point. Where
I mean, I'm sorry. Let me just Val says she has to go here. So Val, help me out here.
Help you out with what? What do you mean?
Well, no. What I mean is, was there any place you wanted to go with this, or
no,
did you want to hand the mic off to Alex? It's whatever you want to do.
Just discuss.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Sure, the crossing the line about bullying, to me, yeah, it has to be there in the first place. The killing themselves, yeah. I don't think that you have a pretty pampered life if your first problem is bullying. I mean, you have stuff to eat on your table, you have a roof to sleep on, you have a fucking computer if you talk about cyberbullying. So you live a pretty good life already. So you're a fucking pansy if you do that.
It's interesting. Okay, so I think that definitely for people who kill themselves, there's like already sort of a tendency in them. But I mean, I think bullying isn't necessarily I don't know how to call it. Like, it isn't like there are variations of it, right? So there's bullying in the verbal sense, right? But there's also bullying in the physical sense. And so, obviously on the internet, when it comes to trolling, it's only possible, verbally. So I think...
not necessarily. You can have, for example, I mean, you hear about people using Facebook to bully their peers at school. So it's something which can have a connection to the real world. But the kind of bullying that people talk about when they're talking about cyberbullying, they tend to apply it to themselves in really, really flimsy ways, like, a bunch of people on Twitter said mean things at me.
Definitely. But the thing I think
the important thing, there's two things that are happening here. We're talking about people who commit suicide, and that's something you have to understand the psychology of suicide to really kind of appreciate. People tend to kill themselves when they get to a point where they feel their situation is completely untenable. It would be futile for them to continue because they don't have any power to change the situation that they're in. It's something which the preference would be to not exist anymore. And if people are being bullied to that degree, I think that's a world apart from trolling.
Yeah, definitely.
I think regarding bullying, there is a point where and you think it has much to do with directly personal lives, where you use, for example, material that was doxed and swatting, all those things. I think it does have to do. I mean, it's not really going towards what they think or or some funny thing about what they said, as much as attacking them personally. And I think it's easy to notice the difference between the two.
Right.
I think the important thing with a bully is their interest is in dominating an individual. They target one specific person, and that's the only interest they have.
Yeah,
Whereas trolls are largely indiscriminate.
Yeah, and that's why bullies typically target a specific person constantly by name, generally in a personal manner. While, yeah.
So, going into sort of the wider political aspect of what's going on here, I mean, it's been, I think, really fun for a lot of us to watch this nonsense with Donald Trump running around trolling various media outlets. I think somebody said Donald Trump is running a campaign and the media is paying for it.
For one thing, those two things are being conflated. Let's get that out there straight away. If you want to talk about what's happening right now, is bullying and trolling have become interchangeable for some.
Oh, sure. Well, people that don't like being trolled will call the trolls or bullies, whatever. It's the guy that doesn't get the joke.
Right, and much like it's not a good idea to water down the definition of rape. It doesn't help people who are victims of genuine bullying to cry bully when somebody says
sure, and it depends on whether the person who cries bullying is genuinely being bullied or is themselves trolling the authorities in question to white knight for them in a situation by using them as a proxy in their own little shit fight.
Trolling their good intentions.
Right. So that's the guy who's getting bullied, or who cries bullying. Sometimes he's a troll, right? Just trying to use the system against the other person, and these sort of subversions and manipulations of each other is just sort of an interesting aspect of our interrelations that I don't think is well examined by a lot of people. They don't. There's this almost insistence that we all take each other seriously, and I think that isn't healthy because it removes any quality of skepticism. Wherein someone, if they are being dishonest, we're just all expected to buy into whatever the hell came out of their mouth.
Listen and believe.
Sure. And that could be in anything. It could be, in Elizabeth Warren telling some goofball that she's a Native American, which matters for some reason, or it could be, some idiot in a video game saying that they're a trans woman, whatever, and that somehow relates to why I shouldn't call them terrible at the game. It's just there's this endless nonsense, and I think it's important that there just be that skepticism, and I think trolling is rhetorically, philosophically, politically, culturally useful for dissecting these either unsustainable or dishonest arguments.
Right.
Well, I think people like Trump and Milo, the way they troll, I think, is great because it can create a debate where there otherwise might not have been one.
Right.
And I think, especially on the internet, a lot of people go into a forum thinking that they're open to discussion when really they pretty much made up their mind and aren't willing to ever even acknowledge someone else's opinion or argument. But by trolling them, well, not badly, you could put them on the attack so that they have to at least acknowledge the other side, then try and come up with counter arguments. Which
I got to say, at first I thought you were trolling me because you inhaled and didn't say anything. But now you're talking. Yeah!
Yay!
That was not a natural oh, fuck it.
And something that Magic said about desensitizing people. I do think that desensitizing people is different from hazing, because generally hazing is more of a group to in-group matter, whereas I think desensitizing is more of a in-general thing. It's
Right.
like the current PC narrative is that you can't say or even think about words like, faggot, because if you even hear that word, you must instantly go into a rage.
Right.
But how many times can you hear the word faggot before you're like, you know what, it doesn't bother me anymore? I've heard it so
I
many
don't
times.
understand why people are so obsessed and upset by bundles of sticks. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's the
Because,
language. It's the
it's
language policing.
it's the whole reference to Mussolini, I think.
Yeah. And the part of the look. I mean, I can only speak for what I've had to deal with in California, but the way that it generally is employed is there's this sort of ever shifting minefield around you, and should you not have a current map of where all the mines are buried, you're going to step on one of them. It's going to blow your legs off, and then whomever catches you on it is going to point at you and go, "I am better than you because you stepped on that mine."
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you're. There's no need to demonstrate intent of any kind. All they're really doing is, it's like if grammar police were turned into a mortal moral sin. Like, you use this word, ergo you are a non-person.
If you're gonna use grammar on me, I'm gonna die like in 2 days.
Well, I mean, it's not literally grammar. It's like, often it's you use a particular word in the wrong context.
I think that's
You don't virtue signal hard enough on a sticky issue. I mean, it's
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah.
so. I think that's kind of the point that Stephen's making there, tying into that, is that it's an essential weapon against that. An essential weapon.
Right.
Because the only way that you can have a discussion about those things, the only way that you can challenge that narrative is to use these trolling tactics.
Right.
Is to turn it around and actually make it about those things rather than allowing their definitions to stand, for example.
Well, sure. So, like, I mean, one of the things that I enjoyed greatly when I was dealing with a bunch of very radical environmentalists in Santa Monica is that I got them to speak very openly and loudly about their eugenics and genocide thoughts. Because basically, something you'll find in the radical environmental movements, they'll talk about how there are too many people on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And, it's like, okay, so, like, how many should we have? And the number is always something that is terrifyingly small. And then it's like, how do you get there? And then, it turns into like forced, birth control or war or something awful. Well, I mean, like germ plagues and stuff. You're listening to these guys, and you're like, oh my god.
You want to make the world better? You better grab your shotgun, you fucking hippies.
They'll present themselves in these situations as being the most moral people in the universe, and then if you can get them to speak about like a global human extermination program, it's like, oh my god, they're Nazis.
Well, look, I mean, can you imagine how much better the world would be if we eliminated, say, about 7 billion carbon footprints?
Yeah, exactly. No. I mean, I think the number I got out of them was 10 million.
10 million would be the ideal number.
That's the number they wanted left, was 10 million.
Wow.
10 million is
Are
that.
you sure that wasn't like 10 million controllers and 990 million slaves?
No, they wanted, and of course, how you determine who it gets on the 10 million list was pretty funny. It was like well, obviously we're on the list.
I mean, duh.
I mean,
Just
no, it
because
was
I'm
pretty much
hopping
proposed
train cars
as
doesn't
duh.
mean I shouldn't be on the list.
Right, and so that was a fun thing that I this is several years ago where I was dealing with these goofballs, And another fun troll that I did. I mean, a lot of these, I did in person. There was a bunch of kids. I did this both in grade school and in college. There were all these sort of trilby-tipping atheists walking around, and I'm myself agnostic. I don't have any particular theistic bent, but they were like, oh, I'm an atheist, ergo I'm intellectually and emotionally and politically sophisticated, unlike and they didn't know anything. And so what I did was I got them to sell me their souls. For anywhere from between $5 and $10 usually. I was, I got a red ballpoint pen out, and I wrote a little contract out for each one of them. And I was like, okay, so just sign your name right there, and here's $5. And if your soul doesn't exist, then I'm an idiot, and I just gave you $5. And it put them in a situation where, to substantiate their nonsense, they had to take my $5, sign their name, and walk away. And pretty much without exception, every single fucking one of them came back to me later with this haunted look in their eyes. They were sweaty, a lot of them. It was really funny. And they were like, I have to have it back. I have to have it back. And they kept trying to give me precisely the same amount of money that I gave them. And I was like, oh, no. The price has definitely gone up. Because I don't have to give you shit. And then you play the game with like, well, I've sold that on. There are markets for these things, and they anyway, they shut up with their fucking pretensions after that. It was pretty good.
Right. Something to follow on from what I said a bit earlier about how a successful troll might be able to spark a debate. I think you could also use it to perhaps change someone's mind. If they decided from initially that they're right, they don't need to change because they have all the answers, and so they won't debate with you. You start the debate with something quote unquote triggering, so they just attack it like a bulldog.
Right.
And then the discussion started. From there, you can work your way up to an actual debate and potentially change someone's mind. And that's a useful part of trolling.
To take this in a dark direction, because I have to, that's actually a quality of.
Can we first establish what you mean by dark? Because I'm really confused on that after tonight.
It's not in the unknown sense. It's in the morally questionable direction. The quality of extreme interrogations is first to get them to talk to you, because the default position of most people, like if you grab, say, an enemy agent or something, and you want them to, I don't know, tell me the launch codes or whatever, they're not going to want to talk to you. They're just going to sit there and stare at the ceiling whistling. And so to even begin the interrogation, you first have to get them to talk to you. And that's where some of the nasty shit starts to happen, where you're just like, look, I'm not even trying to get you to tell me the truth. I'm just trying to get you to talk to me. And so I'm going to break your left pinky. And you do that, and they go, ow! And you go, yeah, okay. I'm going to break the other one. Talk to me. And it's an element of if someone is refusing to even have the conversation, if you do something that sort of rings their bell a little bit, it forces them to go, okay, fine, you're obnoxious enough now that I have to actually respond. Whether or not anything but bullshit comes out of their mouth is another question, but at least they're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Was that too dark?
No, it's okay. It's fine in my book.
I'm still waiting for you to get to the dark part.
Yeah.
The breaking of the pinkies bit was as dark as I was getting there.
You put them in the gas chamber.
You're edgy.
I know.
Tonight.
As Lenny likes to, Lenny, wait, what am I? Starts with a T.
Oh, you're a metropolitan bourgeoisie trinity. There we go.
Boom.
That doesn't start with T.
Oh, sorry,
I was, just,
Twin.
I was just looking for trendy, but Lenny wants to add it to magic or something.
I want to have metropolitan bourgeoisie in there for some stupid reason.
Also accurate. Um,
Yes, you are from metropolitan. No.
I am.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
No.
So, is there anything left to the subject?
I don't know. I mean, this is sort of a rough concept of something to talk about, just because I thought it was an interesting thing that isn't really examined very closely.
No,
No, it's a label that gets thrown around a great deal, and never really defined by those people using it. And as we've discussed, usually used as a means of shutting someone down or dismissing them.
Sure.
I think the more that you understand about trolling and those people who use tactics such as those, I guess in a way we're empowering people.
Mm-hmm.
So the three people who will listen to this stream, we're doing you a fucking amazing service here, and you should be grateful. And, in that light, I think that, and with that in mind, I think we should maybe consider launching a Patreon.
Yes.
In the name, I don't know.
Actually, no. Wayne, what we have to start is a non-profit charity, which will be tax deductible.
This has definitely got some mileage in it.
And I think what we need to do is, you know how they're always banging on about how there are not enough Africans on the internet?
Right.
Right, because they're like locked out of the modern world due to lack of technology and so forth.
Well, yeah, I mean they're busy being oppressed by white people. So,
right. No, exactly. So what if because see, if they just put them on the internet, they're going to be at a disadvantage because they haven't had our experience with the trolly goodness that is the internet. So first we have to put them through a course where they're taught how to troll properly. Now, granted, the Nigerians are pretty freaking good at it already. But if you spread that around and then we just flood the internet, and then the entire internet can get the full benefit of what they have to offer.
See, I'm just going to have to instead, I'm going to have to point out that we would then find ourselves up against the competition. And that competition is, as I mentioned, Counter-Strike.
Yes.
So why would they enroll in our Troll U?
Well, I don't know if they would enroll, but we might get people to give us money.
Maybe.
And then we could do these like long, sad videos on television, right before Law and Order, about these
how
poor.
I can't afford wax for my crack hair.
These poor children do not know the joy of calling Miley Cyrus a cunt.
And we need to use some of that really emotive music.
Yeah,
she
exactly.
really is a cunt, though. So.
And we're gonna get some like little flies that are coated in glue, and we're just gonna throw them at the child while he stands there. And then at the end of the movie, you're gonna see the producer pay the child, and the child is gonna like wipe it off, laugh, and jump in his car.
This is Liblu.
Yeah, this is Liblu.
Liblu has not had the same opportunities in life that you and I enjoy.
Liblu has a Olympic-sized swimming pool from all of the shilly, goddamn, ridiculous, concern troll fucking adverts for the poor African children. They tracked one of these kids down. There's one of them, I forget what his name is. He literally has done something like 40 of these things for different philanthropic organizations. He's always the poor African child. He's like an African child celebrity for these things.
Does he just have like the right kind of mix of lack of body fat and soulful eyes?
Well, he just has to stick his belly out and pop a sad face and let people throw flies at him.
Go ahead.
Did you get him?
No, I just had the story about somebody not getting the joke in Africa that is pretty funny.
Oh.
You want to hear it or not?
Sure.
Look, if
Okay.
if you're gonna interrupt, you don't get to then cock tease. That's not how it works.
I know.
Okay.
I've been talking about my blue balls all day.
So yeah, there was that guy that was very Christian in Africa, and I saw the entire video of him like literally thinking that Satan was talking to him by the internet.
Mhm.
And yeah, he did go to the church to get depossessed and shit. And the guy was basically just a troll posting a Satan picture like, "Oh, I'm the devil.
Yeah.
Would you oblige?"
Was this
Pretty
the
funny.
was this the eat the poo poo guy? Because that would be delightful if it's him.
No, it was not.
Eat the poo-poo.
No, but it was a lack of self-awareness and not getting the joke that was prime target for laughter there.
Right.
Anyway, I just thought it was funny that the guy literally think that he had a conversation with the devil over the internet.
I found the devil and he is on Twitter.
Why has no one made a devil chat box yet?
A devil chat box. Oh, chat bot.
That kind of makes me think about what Stalin said to Churchill. He said to Churchill, "Do you have oh, you're a conservative. Is God a conservative? Is he on your side? No, I have Satan on my side. He's a good communist."
Uh-huh.
That's what Stalin said to Churchill, apparently.
Well, he's very red.
He is.
Yeah.
That's actually probably what Churchill probably should have said. Was like, oh, makes sense. They both wear red.
I
Well,
think
I'm not sure how Churchill responded, but he probably just stared at him going, "Yeah, sure, whatever."
No, he certainly did not.
I
No.
think we are getting
Churchill was always quick with a little quip.
we
Yeah,
are
that's
getting-
what was sweaty.
yeah, we are getting into low energy mode. I don't know how longer you
Yeah,
want that
yeah.
thing to
I
go.
think I was throwing it out there to
Remind
see if anybody had anywhere else they wanted to go. It seems like we're winding down here. So does anyone have anything else they
Speak for
wanted to?
yourself, Magic.
Oh,
Dude, Wayne. Okay, Matt. Okay, Wayne. Presenting you.
Okay.
Present everyone, Wayne. There we go.
Well, there you go. I mean, that pretty much says it all. No, I think it would be nice to maybe look at some trolls from down the years, some historical trolls, if you like.
Okay.
I mean, you're actually you're not in your usual guise tonight, as you're in the guise of the channel, and therefore we don't have your usual avatar. But I would say that Diogenes was himself very much a troll.
Oh, of course it was.
So yeah, and I think that the history of trolling it dates back, obviously, way back before.
That's one of the reasons I love him. He was like the proto troll.
Yeah, and
He was like everyone else is sitting there trying to be super serious, and Diogenes is literally crawling around on the ground, barking like a dog. People are making these arguments, and he literally just kind of pulls up his tunic and pisses on them.
Yeah.
He was invited to this rich guy's house, and he was kind of dirty, and everyone was like, "Okay, so you're really filthy. So these are all the things you're not allowed to do, because you're gross." And later on, the guy pissed Diogenes off, and Diogenes spat right in his face. And they said, "Why did you do that?" He's like, "In this rich man's house, where can I spit besides the guy's face? I've been told I can't do this anywhere else." And and so that was his troll. He was just like, eh. Like the response to Alexander the Great. He was like, "Oh, I'll give you anything you want. What do you want?" And he says, "Get out of my son."
He reportedly responded to Plato because Plato said something about man. I think was it a featherless biped?
Uh-huh.
So Diogenes he plucked a chicken and he left it on Plato's doorstep, and the note said something along the lines of, "Behold, I give you man."
Oh man.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So yeah, I mean, the one quote I still like from Stalin was when his stupid son tried to kill himself with like a gun and he missed, and like Stalin just said, "Oh, the guy can't even shoot straight. What a fucking idiot."
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I think we're done with quotes now, so we should just end the stream before
Oh.
before another Showa happens.
How
All right.
first of all, good.
All right.
But yeah.
So,
I'm
Magic.
sorry, I just had to end it.
Magic. I need one troll line out of you, buddy.
Okay. Then why should I care?
There you go. Quality. Pat, I'm gonna poke you with the stick.
Life is as extreme as you want to make it.
Mm. Deep.
Yeah.
All right, and Steven?
Kiss my grits.
Nice. Win.
Huh? What? You want me to fucking do things?
Also good. Very nice. Yeah, done.